Hello everyone, happy Thanksgiving. Welcome to A Clear Perspective. I'm Serene Lee. A tragedy happened during the Christmas parade in Waukesha County, Wisconsin last Sunday. A red SUV suddenly plowed into the parade at high speed, leaving at least 6 dead, ranging in age from 8 to 81 years old, and at least 62 injured. The suspect with multiple criminal records has been arrested. Joe Biden gave a speech the next day, calling the incident a horrific act of violence. Even though the local police said the accident was intentional, the left media ignored the facts and called it an accident at the beginning. Now they changed it to attack. The 39-year-old suspect, Darrell Brooks, is charged with 5 counts of homicide. He is a supporter of BLM movement. He has been arrested repeatedly since the 1990s. In February 2021, Brooks was bailed for $500 after allegedly shooting at his nephew the summer before. Earlier this month, he intentionally ran over his ex-girlfriend with the same SUV he plowed into the parade. But he was released just a few days ago only on a $1,000 bail. This time, a $5 million bail was set for his attack in the parade. In addition, he is also a wanted criminal by the state of Nevada. Mary Lemansky, the social media manager for the Democratic Party in DuPage County in Illinois, tweeted, quote, "I was probably just self-defense. #Wisconsin, #Kyle Rittenhouse." She compared the driver to Kyle Rittenhouse, saying, "You reap what you sow, Wisconsin," implying that the tragedy was a revenge for Kyle's acquittal. Later, she was laid off as social media manager. It's worth mentioning that after Kyle Rittenhouse moved to Florida, he got a chance to meet President Trump at Mar-a-Lago. On Tuesday night, a Twitter user named Big League Politics tweeted that President Trump meets with Kyle Rittenhouse, defender of Kenosha, and included a photo of both together. On that day, former President Trump had an hour-long interview with Fox News' Sean Hannity. Near the end of the interview, Trump told Sean that he had met with Kyle and his mother in Florida. Trump said he should not have had to suffer through a trial for that. He was going to be dead if he didn't pull that trigger. Trump said Rittenhouse was a nice young man. Tuesday, November 23rd, during a White House press briefing, Fox News reporter asked whether the president would be willing to apologize for suggesting that Rittenhouse is a white supremacist twice during the 2020 presidential race. Jen Psaki dodged the question and said, "So what we've seen are the tragic consequences of that when people think it's okay to take the law into their own hands instead of allowing law enforcement to do its job." She suggested that Rittenhouse was not forced to defend himself, but was responsible for the current hatred, division, and violence. But the truth of what happened that night at Kenosha has been released to the whole world. Rittenhouse was just defending himself. It is clear that Psaki's comments were not on point. Instead of clarifying Biden's case, it served to add fuel to the fire. On Tuesday, the Biden administration announced that the Department of Energy would release 50 million barrels of oil from the Strategic Petroleum Reserve to combat increasing inflation. This release will be the largest one in the U.S. history. At the same time, other major oil consumers, including the second largest oil-consuming country, China, as well as India and the UK, also made similar announcements. Hu Xijin, editor-in-chief of a CCP media, Global Times, seems to be very happy on China's participation in this effort. The Global Times quickly published an editorial titled, "Washington Again Turns to Beijing to Curb Inflation." But just after a little while, the Biden administration slapped the CCP in the face by introducing the highly anticipated Democracy Summit. On Tuesday, the U.S. Department of State announced the list of invited participants for the virtual summit, which is scheduled on December 9 to 10th. Taiwan received an official invitation. In the alphabetical order, Taiwan's name comes right after Switzerland, while China is nowhere to be seen. Of course, the public is interested to see how the CCP will react to this. The CCP's Foreign Ministry spokesperson Zhao Lijian held his regular press conference this Wednesday. Zhao stressed that Taiwan is an inalienable part of China's territory, and the One China principle is a universally recognized norm governing international relations. He warned, those playing with fire with Taiwan independence forces will end up getting burned. As we can see, the CCP felt really offended by not being invited to the summit. The summit's official name is the Leaders' Democracy Summit. It's aimed to bring together leaders from a diverse group of the world's democracies. The invitation are for democratic countries and the governments. Since the U.S. extended its invitation to Taiwan, it means that it recognizes the one country, two governments situation in China. The CCP itself is fully aware of this. Duowei News, a propaganda mouthpiece for the CCP, published a commentary titled, U.S. invites Taiwan to the Summit of Democracy, substantiating One China, One Taiwan. The second interesting point is that the name Taiwan is used in the invitation instead of Chinese Taipei. This is exactly the reason that caused the diplomatic crisis between the CCP and Lithuania recently. As you may know, a few days ago, when the Taiwan representative office in Lithuania was officially opened, the CCP rampaged. Chinese state media went out of control and insulted Lithuania using words such as flies, mosquitoes, and rats. On Sunday, China downgraded diplomatic ties with Lithuania to the level of charge d'affaires. This was a bit unexpected, as everyone had previously speculated that the two countries might totally break diplomatic relations. But in fact, it was only a downgrade. They still maintained official diplomatic relations. A new situation has appeared. Lithuania established its diplomatic ties with Taiwan officially, while on the other hand, is still maintaining diplomatic relations with the CCP. That means the CCP implicitly recognized that Lithuania can have the dual recognition on both PRC and Taiwan. That is to say, one country, two governments. If we simply compare the summit with the Lithuania's case, Taiwan's attendance in the summit is as powerful as Lithuania's Taiwan representative office. But unlike Lithuania, the CCP did not downgrade its diplomatic relations with the United States. What can we learn from this? I think CCP might have silently recognized and accept the one country, two governments. From this perspective, Taiwan's participation in the Democracy Summit has gained both reputation and benefits. The precedent set by the U.S. has paved the way for Taiwan to attend various international conferences and participate in international organizations in the future. For the Chinese Communist Party, it has lost both reputation and benefits, since it did not dare to take real actions. The CCP only had tough words, which made itself laughed at by the rest of the world. That's all for today. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and share our program. There is a little announcement here. Starting from next week, the program will be only twice a week, every Wednesday and Friday. Thank you for your long-time support. Happy Thanksgiving again, and see you next time.